Okay, I'm Dr. Castle, and I'm making this video to explain the syllabus for our 352 class in winter 2025 semester. I'm excited to meet you and help you learn organic chemistry, and I just want to go through the syllabus first. So the syllabus is up here on the screen, and at the top we have my office hours. And I encourage you to come and visit me during my office hours. Our class is really small this semester. There's only about 15 people registered as of today. And so there's plenty of opportunity for you to come and talk to me and get help if there are topics you don't understand, if there are homework questions that you need help with, any of those things, please come by my office hours. These are the learning outcomes for the semester. Basically, what will happen is we will build on the fundamental principles you learned in Chem 351, and we will expand some of those fundamental principles, but we'll also just teach you several reactions that build on what you learned in Chem 351. We'll be using the same textbook, and most of you presumably are using the ebook that is available on Red Shelf through Learning Suite. You can access it in the same way as you did for your Chem 351 class. And then here we have our schedule that we will be following during the semester. You'll notice that we'll go from chapters 13 to 30. We will skip 29. And then we're moving up chapter 28 because it's going to help us with an assignment that we'll have, a take-home assignment we'll have. But we're largely going to just go in order through the second half of the textbook. And then to know what you should have read before coming to class, because we're going to go in order, not only as we follow the chapters, but within the chapters, we're essentially going to follow the order the material is presented. You can just divide the number of sections in the chapter by the number of days we will spend on a chapter. Chapter 1 will be a little bit different, or sorry, chapter 13 will be a little bit different, as I'll explain in a moment. But let's just look at chapter 14 as an example. We have 3 days scheduled for chapter 14. And so before you come to class on January 13th, which is 2 weeks from today, you will just want to have the first third of that chapter read so that you can come to class and be prepared for the lecture and be prepared to participate in a discussion. So if there are 15 sections in chapter 14, you'd want to have the first 5 sections read for Monday, then sections 6 through 10 read for Wednesday, and then sections 11 through 15 read through Friday. Okay, so hopefully it should be pretty straightforward to know which sections of the book you would need to have read to be prepared for lecture on any given day. But if you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to contact me. Email works great, and I'd be happy to elaborate. Now, the first chapter, chapter 13, is going to be a little bit different because, as you probably know by now, BYU recently reduced the number of instruction days in the semester by 1. So we have 1 fewer lecture period to help you learn organic chemistry. Now, rather than squeeze everything into fewer lectures, what I've decided to do is have you watch a recorded lecture that I made of the material that I typically covered on day 1 of the semester, okay? And I will be posting that on Learning Suite, and I will mention this in an email, how you can access it. So sometime before Wednesday, January 8th, you need to watch the video that used to be the first day's lecture in class, and that covers the first third of chapter 13. And then on Wednesday, January 8th, we're going to cover the middle third of chapter 13. And then on Friday, January 10th, we're going to cover the final third of chapter 13. And I'll explain all this in an email that I'll send to you as well. But for all the other lectures, you should be able to just divide each chapter by the number of days that are scheduled for that chapter to know how many sections we're going to cover in a given lecture. And then you want to read that section of the textbook before you come to class so that you'll be prepared to participate in class. And then you can also see we have our exams scheduled here. We have 4 exams in the testing center. I believe this one actually goes over our little spring break weekend, so the dates are a little bit awkward. I think that's the only one that closes on a Monday. And just hopefully you've been at BYU long enough to know that the testing center closes early on Monday. And so make sure that you get into the testing center with plenty of time. And even better than that, take the exam before the spring break weekend so that you can enjoy that spring break weekend and you don't have to come back and take the exam on Monday. Okay? And then our final exam, so the 4 regular exams will be held in the testing center. And there will be a sample exam posted before the first exam so that you can get an idea of the length and the format of those exams. The final exam, in contrast, will be held in class, not in the testing center. Okay? And it will be held at the time and date that are specified by the university. That is the only time and date that the final exam will be given. So please do not make your travel plans to leave town at the end of the semester before the final exam, because according to university policy, I'm not allowed to give that exam early. I have to give it to you at this time. So please be here. Please put this in your calendars. Please be here to take the exam, final exam, on Monday, April 21st. It is a standardized final exam written by the American Chemical Society, and I'll have more to say about that as the semester goes on. All right, so let's scroll down a bit here. Here are the points possible for the semester and the different assignments that we have. So we will have some written quizzes. Those will be in-class quizzes. As you see here, they are unannounced. They are pop quizzes. There's a reason for this. In the years that I've been teaching organic chemistry, I have found that if a student thinks there might be a quiz when they come to class, that provides a very powerful motivation for the student to be prepared for class. In fact, better motivation than anything else I have seen or encountered. So we don't have these unannounced quizzes just for the purpose of torturing you or elevating your stress levels. They are there to help give you extra motivation to be prepared for class so that you can effectively learn organic chemistry. They're worth 10 points each, and 50 points will be part of your grade for these written quizzes. You'll notice that it says here there will be 6 or more quizzes. The exact number of quizzes is not known at this time. As the semester proceeds, I will decide when are the good days to have quizzes, and then as we get closer to the end of the semester, I'll decide exactly how many quizzes we'll have for the semester. But I'll tell you that there will be at least 6 quizzes, which means that you would be able to drop at least one of your lowest quiz scores. And if we have more than 6, let's say we have 8 quizzes, then that would give you the ability to drop 3 quizzes. We will only count the top 5 quizzes. So it's actually in your benefit if we have more quizzes. But there will be somewhere at least 6 and very probably more quizzes during the semester. You'll notice it says on the syllabus, those quizzes will be held at the beginning of class. Okay, so if you come to class and we hand out quizzes as you come to class, then you know we're having a quiz at the beginning of class. If not, if there's no quiz handed out right before class starts, then you know that there won't be a quiz that day, and you won't have to worry about there being a quiz. Sometime during the class period, you'll be able to relax and focus on the material that we are talking about. We will also have iClicker quizzes. Those are typically multiple choice questions, and there is a handout on iClickers. So I believe it's the assignments tab in Learning Suite. If you go there, you'll find a handout on iClickers that will explain how the iClicker grading works. It's worth a total of 20 points. And that document will also tell you how to sign up for the class. We are using the iClicker app. And so you have to have a subscription to the iClicker app, and you have to use either a phone or a tablet or a laptop to respond to the iClicker questions. You cannot use the physical iClicker device. However, it is possible to use the serial number on an iClicker device, if you have one, to get a subscription to the iClicker app. You don't have to actually buy that iClicker app separately if you've already bought a clicker. Personally, I don't know how to do this because I've never done it. It's only the students in the class that have done it. But students have told me in the past that they've been able to use that serial number to sign up. But you must, one way or another, either by purchasing or using a clicker you've already purchased, get a subscription to the iClicker app that lasts through the entire semester. And I've given you instructions on that document of how to join our iClicker course. Okay. And those can begin on the first day of class on Wednesday. We won't have iClicker quizzes every class period. Sometimes we'll have them, other times we won't. Sometimes we might have more than one iClicker during a class. It just depends on how the iClicker questions fit in to the topics of discussion for a given class period. But you need to be ready. You need to be registered and ready for iClickers on the first day of class. So please make sure you get that taken care of between now and January 8th. Exams, I already mentioned those. Those are each worth 100 points. And they will be a mixture of multiple choice and free response questions. And I said there will be a sample exam available, and we'll talk about that, the exams as exam one approaches towards the end of January. There will be 2 take-home assignments, a synthesis assignment, which is a fun way of helping you learn how modern organic chemists use the reactions that you're learning in class, as well as a take-home quiz. And those will be towards the end of the semester, so we'll have a lot more to say about those as the time approaches. I already mentioned the final, in class, all multiple choice, just a standardized final exam written by the American Chemical Society. You'll notice that homework is not listed here in the assignments that are graded. We do have homework. There is a document on Learning Suite that lists the assigned homework problems. It's approximately half of the homework. This book, one of the strengths of our textbook is its excellent homework problems. But there are lots of them, and so to make the load more manageable, we've essentially cut the assignment in half. But you should look at that document that lists the assigned homework problems, and it also lists how to turn it in. You have 2 options. You can do a written notebook, which you would then turn in at the end of the semester, or you may turn it in, you may do the homework electronically and turn it in electronically, but we have very specific instructions on how to do this. So please make sure you read the homework document on Learning Suite, which is under the Assignments tab, because it's critical that you follow those instructions exactly. Just to briefly summarize, you may not have all the homework for the whole semester in a single document. Such a document is much too large for us to grade. You have to put each chapter's homework in a separate document and then put it in a folder and then give me access to that folder. You can put it on Box or Google Drive or something like that. But you must put each chapter in a separate folder if you are completing the homework electronically. So please make sure you follow those instructions exactly in the homework document. So the way the grading of the homework works, there are lots of problems assigned, too many for us to grade all of them. So what we do is we make the homework worth 6 points. We choose 6 points because historically, typically about 10% of a class, of a Chem 352 class, is within 6 points of the next higher letter grade. And so at the end of the semester, when we've curved the class and we've decided where what the point ranges for each letter grade will be, if you are within 6 points of the next higher letter grade, and there's roughly a 10% chance that will happen, then we will grade your homework, and it's graded based on completion. If you've completed all the problems, you'll get those 6 points and you'll get the higher letter grade. If you completed half the homework problems, you'll get 3 points, which may be enough if you're close enough to get the next higher letter grade, but it might not be. So I encourage you to do all the homework. Um, Typically, we get very good compliance. Students in Chem 352 usually are very diligent about doing the homework. Usually 90% of the class or so will do the homework. I'd love to see 100% of you complete the homework because, as I mentioned here in the syllabus, in addition to helping you if you end up on the borderline of an A minus or an A, for example, the homework will also help you. It is the best way to prepare for exams. We'll talk about this repeatedly throughout the semester, but the best way to prepare for the exams is to complete the homework. So if you're diligent in doing the homework, it will help you tremendously on the exams. Okay? And then the last thing here on this page of the syllabus is we have a grade scale. This is broken down into approximate percentages of students who historically earn each of these letter grades in Chem 352 classes at BYU. But this is not set in stone. This does not mean that only 25% of you will earn A's or A minuses. It does not mean there are a limited number of A's or A minuses that can be earned by students in this class. This is just what typically happens in a Chem 352 class. And usually we curve the class, which means usually that if your average is in the upper 80s, you'll probably end up in the A minus range. And so forth. It's not just the strict percentages you might be used to from other classes, because organic chemistry is a challenging class. And a good score on an organic chemistry exam is a score that you might think is a lower score for perhaps other classes. That's just the nature of the discipline. But I promise you that you'll never be penalized by classmates doing well in the class. So what I mean by this is that if everybody in this class ends up 90% or above, then everybody in this class is going to earn an A or an A minus. Now, realistically, that's probably not likely. That's never happened in the 22 years I've been teaching organic chemistry at BYU. But I hope it will happen. I hope this will be the first semester. Each semester, I hope this will be the first time that everybody in the class earns A's or A minuses. And I'm on your side. I want you to learn organic chemistry. I want you to get a high grade. And importantly, working together with your classmates will not penalize you. Okay, so if you work and study together with classmates and your classmate does really well, that doesn't decrease your chance of earning an A. So I want you to work together. I want you to help each other learn organic chemistry. And I would love for everybody in the class to earn A's or A minuses. All right, let's go to the second page of the syllabus. You'll note that the syllabus only has 2 pages. It's probably one of the shorter syllabuses that you'll see in a class at BYU. In my opinion, many people make a syllabus that's much too long, and no students read through the whole thing. And the fact that a syllabus is really long obscures the important information in the syllabus. My syllabus only has the important information listed, and so I strongly, strongly encourage you not only to watch this video, but to read through the syllabus and understand everything in it. All right, so as we go through the second page of the syllabus, iClickers, quizzes, and exams. We've already talked about some of this, some of the items here in the context of the schedule that I was telling you about. So you already know about the iClicker quizzes, you know about the in-class written quizzes that we have that are unannounced. One more thing I need to mention about our unannounced in-class quizzes is that they only cover material that we have discussed in previous class periods. They do not cover any new material that we're going to cover during that class period, okay? So what this means is that on the first day of class, you won't have a quiz, okay, because we will not have had any class. But on the second day of class, on Friday, January 10th, you could have a quiz covering the material we went over on Wednesday, okay? Now I know we do have that video, that lecture video that I'm asking you to watch. I'm not going to give you a quiz on that material on Wednesday, but I do want you to watch that video to become prepared to ask questions about it. You'll also have opportunities to ask questions in the recitations, which we'll cover in a moment. There is something called Bacon. It is an online tutorial system. It was established by a friend of mine who's a professor at UCLA. And there are some online tutorials that that cover some of the material we're going to learn in Chem 352. It is an optional system, so you would go through these online tutorials and then you would take a quiz, and your average of the Bacon quizzes can replace your lowest quiz score. So that's another way to get rid of a low quiz score, is to do the Bacon quizzes, and use that to replace your lowest quiz score. And so there's a document on Learning Suite on Bacon. You can read that document and it will tell you how to sign up for it. There is a modest fee. I believe it's about $6. My friend at UCLA assures me that they are not making profit on the Bacon quizzes, that they are just using that money to maintain the servers and the computers and the system that houses this Bacon system. If you have to miss a quiz, or if you have an emergency come up that affects your ability to take an exam, then those makeups of quizzes and exams are only allowed if you have a catastrophic event. That would be if you had some sort of illness or family emergency. I could probably take this out. This required quarantining was back for the pandemic. Hopefully you're not required to quarantine anymore. Or if you have a university approved trip, if you're on an athletic team, if you are presenting research at a conference, if you're in a performing group. In the event of university sponsored trips, you have to contact me before you go on the trip in order to make necessary arrangements to make up exams. In the event of an illness or a family emergency, please contact me as soon as that occurs, so that we can make the appropriate arrangements. But other than those things, you're expected to be here in class every day to take the quizzes. You're expected to take the exams at the times they are available in the testing center. And then we will allow you, if your score on the final exam is higher than your score on your lowest exam, we will replace your lowest exam score with the percentage you earned on the final exam. Okay, so if you get a low exam score at some point, do not despair. You'll have an ability to make up for that if you do better on the final exam. There's one extra credit assignment. There's a document on that on Learning Suite as well, under the Music Video tab. It is writing and recording a music video, which is usually a parody of a song, where you've changed the lyrics to be covering organic chemistry topics that we learn. Many students find this a fun opportunity, and it can be a learning experience as well. I also encourage you to do it in a group, because what I've found is that students who get together in groups to make organic chemistry music videos will often use those same groups as study groups. So as a result, you'll be able to earn up to 5 points if you work as a group. If you're shy and you don't want to work as a group, you're welcome to turn in a music video, but it'll only be worth 3 points if you do it by yourself. So we do encourage you to do this as a group assignment, because in the long run, that will help you form study groups, which will be very beneficial for you. We have recitations on Thursday afternoons in this class. There are 3 recitations. Because this is such a small class, you'll have plenty of opportunity in recitations to ask questions of our TA, Jason Carlson. Jason was the top student in my class last year, so he's very, very well qualified and an excellent resource for you. And so I encourage you to go to those recitations, ask Jason questions. That will be a good learning experience. Attendance is not mandatory in recitations. There will be no new material covered, no quizzes given, but we do strongly encourage it because it will be very, very beneficial to your learning of organic chemistry. Okay, as far as helpful hints, how to succeed in Chem 352. The first thing to note is that you will be learning more reactions in 352 than you learn in 351. There will be a lot more reactions covered in this class. And so you have to keep up. You can't fall behind. Falling behind will be almost fatal to your grade. It will be very, very difficult for you. Not impossible, but very difficult for you to catch up if you fall behind. So please don't fall behind in this class. There's no magic formula for success in learning organic chemistry, but there is a simple formula for success. That simple formula involves, first, reading the appropriate sections in the textbook before coming to class. And in the course of reading, jotting down notes about topics that you might not understand, or questions that you might have during that reading, so that when we cover those topics in class, you are prepared to ask questions about them. So if you've read before you come to class, you are well prepared to be an active participant in class, to ask questions when you don't understand things, to answer questions when I ask questions. The more active you are in class, the more effective you'll be learning organic chemistry. And then doing the homework. Organic chemistry is all about solving problems. It's not the sort of subject where you can hear something in class and say, yeah, that makes sense to me, and then get 100% on an exam. You have to actually practice the problem solving, and that's where the homework is vital. And then you need to get feedback on the homework. You need to look up after you have answered the questions, you need to use the solutions manual, which all of you have access to. Use that solutions manual to look up the answers. And if you got the wrong answer and you don't understand why, then please see me or Jason or one of the other TAs in the tutorial lab to understand why your answer was not correct. You need to get that feedback, not only on the homework, but also on the exams to help you learn. Study groups, as I mentioned, very, very helpful. I highly recommend it. Flashcards can be a very good way to learn about reactions. And if you ask me about that during my office hours, I'm happy to explain how to make flashcards. I imagine Jason made flashcards when he took the class, and he'll give you some tips in the recitations about that as well. Generally speaking, you'll do much better in this class if you understand the basic fundamental concepts, if you understand reaction mechanisms, rather than just trying to memorize facts. There is some memorization that's necessary in organic chemistry, but generally speaking, you want to minimize the memorization and you want to maximize your understanding of the concepts and the mechanisms. And that will help you perform well on exams. And as I noted, I would love for everyone in the class to earn an A. All right, so that concludes what we will go over today in this video. I look forward to meeting you next Wednesday. I look forward to the semester, to helping you learn organic chemistry. I love teaching organic chemistry. It was my second favorite class at BYU when I was an undergrad. I did take a skiing class that I'd say was probably my favorite. But I love organic chemistry. I love teaching organic chemistry. I'm grateful that I get paid to do something I enjoy. And hopefully I will be able to convey to you why organic chemistry is fun and exciting and is something that you should learn and you should enjoy doing so as well. Thank you, and see you on Wednesday.